when you're a teacher and you're playing music, you have to dance to the music. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop share. The fun thing though is I'm still hearing the music. So I gotta turn that off. All right.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody. I am so glad that you are here. We have a great representation here of people from different areas of campus. I'm really excited about this, our first design days. And so Heidi and I have worked to put stuff together for you today. We're going to give you some information today, but the other thing we're really going to try to do is get information from you, and we're all going to be working together on this. And this is really the kickoff for our 3 design days. Not that at the end of the 3rd design day, we'll be like, hey, we're done now. We've designed the student success teams, but this is really going to help us design things, design these student success teams. So the first thing I'd like to do is something I do in my class called Waterfall. And what this is I'm going to ask for a prompt, and you're going to type a word or a couple words into chat, but do not hit enter until I say go. All right. And then when I say go, everybody's going to hit enter all at once, and they're all going to fly in all at once. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to type into chat, but don't hit enter yet. What is your position at Cuesta? So type that into chat, because I'd like to see the representation that we have here. And if you're a classified staff, if you could say your specific position. If you're faculty, if you could say what it is you either teach or are counselor, or what your service area is. If you're a student, if you could say student and then maybe what your major is, that would be really great. Okay, so has everybody gotten that typed in? All right, ready, set, go. All right, I should do myself too. I didn't do myself. Oops. There we go. All right. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's go through them. Counselor, student support resolution coordinator, EMS, EMT, paramedic faculty, program analyst, evaluations analyst, student business major, yay, student, bilingual enrollment success specialist, instructor of music, CalWorks coordinator, marketing intern, film major, awesome, EOPS care coordinator, financial aid specialist, admin assistant to the dean of student success and support programs, disability specialist, executive director of advancement, job development in center connections, associate director of student success centers, associate director of marketing and communications, nutrition instructor and culinary arts lead, DSPS testing office coordinator, North County librarian, financial aid, student, yay, cafe specialist, grant coordinator, administrative assistant, part-time lecturer in business ed, math division chair, enrollment services coordinator, internal student program coordinator, chemistry faculty, that's me, program analyst, and financial aid specialist. Whew. So that is a really great, we have a broad representation here. We're getting a lot of input from a lot of people. So that's really wonderful. So thank you all very much for coming. Let's do some quick introductions before we get started with the program. So my name is Lara Baxley. I am a chemistry faculty, and I'm also one of the 2 Guided Pathways co-coordinators. And Heidi.
Hi, I'm Heidi Weber. I'm a counselor. I always say at the SLO campus, but in my house right now. And it is so amazing to see all your faces. I can't even explain. Like I was so nervous about how this was gonna go. And I'm like, I don't even care. I just want to hang out with you guys for 2 weeks or 2 hours. And
2 weeks. I want to hang out with you for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But that's not gonna happen.
For 2 hours, but really thankful that you guys are here, and so excited to talk about how we can work together to better serve students. And thank you all, especially students, for being here too, because we really need your help. So
okay. I'm gonna share my screen again. And that's the Carrizo Plains. That's not what I meant to share with you, but isn't that pretty? That was a few years ago when they had a super bloom out there. Okay, here is our PowerPoint for today. We won't be just looking at PowerPoint though, we'll be doing some other stuff. I reminded myself to start the recording, but Heidi did that, so good. Okay, so we're doing introductions. We've got a little bit more introductions to do. These times are approximate. This is just gonna try to help us stay on task, but of course, everything else takes longer. After I'm done with introductions, Heidi is gonna show us the areas of study webpage and the program mapper, and then we're going to do an activity with the 6 success factors, and we'll have a discussion about that. We'll talk about what the success teams are. We're going to take a quick break so that you can, go to the restroom or get some food or whatever you need to do. And then we're going to do another activity with breakout rooms, yay, with how the success teams can support students. And then Heidi is going to wrap up. I have to leave at 10:55, so I'm going to be gone at the very end of the meeting. All right, so that's really quickly what we're going to do. A little bit more introductions today. First of all, so Heidi and I, as we were developing this, we really wanted to start with what are the outcomes that we want to have for the participants today. And so by the end of this session, we hope that participants will have a foundational understanding of the purpose of the areas of study, student success teams at Cuesta, and an understanding of how the team members can work together to support student success. And we also hope that they will have some fun. All right, so let's do a warm up now. And so what I'd like you to do is think of one person who helped you to be successful in college. And then think of one word or maybe 2 words to describe how that person was helpful. You're not going to put this in chat, just think of that right now. So I'm just going to give you just a moment of silence to think about that. Okay, so hopefully you have your word or a couple of words. And now what I'd like you to do is go to this website. I'm going to put that link in chat. And the way this works is it's first going to ask you for your name. You don't have to do your name. You can or not. It's going to be anonymous whether you put your name in there or not. So it doesn't matter. So you can either put in your name or you can just click skip and then go ahead and type your word or words into the survey and hit enter.
Ready to go?
Yeah, go ahead and do that now.
I think the counselors are going to start pouring in now too.
Okay, right.
Got it.
Is it working? Is the poll working?
I don't think I can.
I'm doing
the
it.
links in chat. Got it.
Because it says no responses received yet. So I'm nervous.
It says waiting for Lara Baxley to begin.
Okay, now try. Is it working now? I tried it on my own.
It's up now.
Is that now? Okay. Oh, there we go. Show responses. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. They're starting to show now. Good. All right. Phew. I was getting nervous. I hadn't used poll everywhere before.
Seem to get it.
So the counselors are pouring in. I see there's a link in the chat.
I'm going to put that link in the chat again for the counselors that are pouring in. Hi, counselors. Thanks for coming from your counseling meeting.
So copy and paste that link that I just put in there. We're doing a poll on think of somebody who helped you while you were a student in college and how or why they were supportive. So Lara, I think we might just want to wait a few more minutes. If
Yep,
that's
I'm waiting.
Cool. Yeah, they're all pouring in.
Okay, so Shannon put in chat that not all browsers work, so change browsers if it doesn't pull up right away. So it's working for me, I just have to click show responses for it to work. This is really great. The question again is on the screen right now. So think of a person who helped you to be successful in college, and the word that you're going to put in there is to think of one word to describe how that person was helpful, and type that one word into that survey, that poll everywhere.
Lara, is this where I see Design Days 1, you have not responded? Is that where I
Yeah,
type?
yeah, go ahead and just type your word in there. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, Thea.
Saying
You don't
now,
have to type in your name now.
It says now maximum responses reached.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I have a free account. All right, so here is what we ended up with. I don't know, is there a way to get those other things off the screen? I don't know. Here is the word cloud that we ended up with, and I'm sorry that this stuff is in the way. I don't know how to get rid of that. I've never used Poll Everywhere before, but it was the best way that I could find to do this. So some words are supportive, encouraging, available, knowledgeable. Heidi, yay, Heidi, your name's in there. Role model.
Thanks,
Weber.
Christina.
It also says Weber. It says Weber pushed.
Oh,
I imagine
geez.
that was a few different words. Student navigation. All right. Fun. All right. So think about these words as you're helping other students. This is what students really need in order to be successful. Mentor, standards. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So let's go ahead, because we're already behind now, and have Heidi talk. Let me resize my screen here. Let's go ahead and have Heidi talk about the areas of study and the web page and the mapper. So I'm going to stop my share.
Okay. Awesome. I just want to welcome, we just doubled, I think, our numbers. So we're at 70 participants right now. So I know the counseling meeting just got let out, and so they've just joined us. So welcome, everybody. And
yes, and oh, can I just interrupt real quick? Sorry.
Of course.
Since you're getting a gift card for food for participating, make sure that your name is you're logged in as your name, so that we can get you your gift card. All right, go ahead, Heidi. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thanks. Okay, so we want to just kind of update you all on kind of what we've been doing. It's been a long journey to get here, but we're super excited to be at this stage and to share with you all kind of what collectively across campus groups and individuals have been working on. So I'll share my screen with you right now. So here's our homepage, and we've been working a lot with Lana Rausch in marketing, and she's been amazing to try to help us with the website. We've been doing a lot of asking students kind of what they need and what they want. So we're designing an areas of study web page for each area of study. And we're asking students for their input and help with that. But in the meantime, we wanted to just highlight kind of the areas of study currently, and then the mapper. So there's a few different ways to find the map. But if you click on academics right here, this goes to the new areas of study web page. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 currently. The ESL and non-credit maps haven't been built yet. That is top priority for me this semester to finish. And so those will be added as soon as that 8th one will be added as soon as those maps are built. And so if you click on, let's say business, because it's right on top, it's going to go directly to the mapper and pull up just the business, agriculture, hospitality, and legal degrees and certificates. And if you go back to this page, you can actually just view them alphabetically in the dropdown. So here are the degrees with the transfer degrees on top, and then the certificates with the certificates of achievement, which are higher unit, higher credit certificates with the certificates of specialization on the bottom. And then and so it goes down in an accordion each way for each of those. So again, flipping back to the map, actually, let me show you a few other ways that you can find the mapper. So if you go to admissions and aid and you click on degrees and certificates, This is one that a lot of us are really familiar with, the giant laundry list, right, of degrees and certificates that we have. So right at the top here is another link to the program mapper. So this is the homepage here with all 8 of our areas of study. And then you can click on each one and it goes to that page that we saw that's linked to the other one. There's also a link to the program mapper on, if you go back to our homepage and find classes, there's a link right here to the program mapper as well. So just in case the student's not sure what they're able to do, they can, or what they want to take or what they might need to take, or if they need some suggestions, the program mapper is right here. Within the program mapper, let's explore that a little bit, just because not everybody, I think, has had an opportunity to look at it. But let's look at ag plant sciences. So also, I just recently figured out how to get these question marks out of the way. So I will be frantically doing that this weekend and over next week to try to remove those. So I think that our instructional faculty will really be excited to not see those question marks anymore. But as we scroll down, this is the Agriculture Plant Science Associate's degree for transfer. Currently, they are all designed with a CSU general education, and they are 2 years in length. This is how the associate's degree for transfers were initially developed and designed by the CSU system. And so we wanted to currently go with this, right? This is kind of our most common degrees. And so in later phases, we'll be working on IGETC specific maps. We do it gets a little trickier sometimes, especially in the STEM fields with sticking to the 60 units, which is an associate's degree for transfer requirement. But again, depending on what students take, we can kind of finagle some of that. And I just want to give a shout out to the counselors and our instructional lead faculty members and supportive faculty members that did this, that worked over many years and are constantly working to update it and giving me feedback on like how to tweak different things. And so I will be holding Zoom sessions for the remainder of the semester starting next week. I thought I was going to be able to get to it this week, but I didn't. But so that if you see something that looks weird, or if you're like, this is way too much as lead faculty in those areas, I'm happy to tweak them or rearrange things. So I'll have a Zoom pop-in lobby where you can just pop in and either learn more about it or just provide any feedback that you feel is necessary. So are there any questions, or is there anything else I can answer, or anything anybody particularly wants to see?
This looks like an amazing amount of work. Thank you.
You're welcome. My screen is minimized, so I didn't get to see who that was who was talking, but it has been an amazing amount of work, and I appreciate that you say that. And it's crazy because it's not just I get to show it to you and I get to play with it a lot, but the people across campus and departments that make this work. And now I keep hearing that people are using it because it's accessible. You don't have to be admitted student. You don't have to have applied in order to explore our majors and our degrees and certificates. So it's just putting the information in the students and potential students' hands in a way that we never have before. So, but again, I can't take credit for this. This is something that Guided Pathways and the BSOC grant helped fund initially. And then it's been, again, there is not one department or area that has not been involved in this process. So, so I can't take credit. Yeah.
Is the mapper supposed to have actual jobs, professions, and employment linked with it? Is that functionality going to be later, or is it in place? Or
that's a great question. So and initially they were national. There was national data being pulled in from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics with the program mapper. And so there was an update recently where it is more local or more specific data, more regional, statewide data probably. And there are some things that we can do where we can either turn this on or off. There are also YouTube videos that if they don't exist, we could actually have you can have lead faculty or departments or students create a video for your program in YouTube, and you could send me the link and I can upload it and put it and add it to the program here. I mean, just spread the word, and I think that would be a really cool way to do it. The state does offer kind of generic ones. So we get a lot of questions about why the videos work or why they don't work. We wanted to really just start with the actual curriculum, just because we figured that was the most pressing piece. But now we can really kind of develop and build it out, and to make it more Cuesta specific. So that's a great question. I think that was Hunter.
Yes.
My ear serves me correctly. Hi, Hunter.
Hi.
But to answer your question again, like we can, it's a little bit limited in what it can do as far as like more specific, like really local, but that's where the areas of study and helping students find local jobs according to their area of study and their interests or internship opportunities is really what one of the pieces where we really want to highlight, and be able to kind of just demonstrate those to students according to their area of study, instead of kind of siloing it, they have to go hunt it down. We really want to make it available. So this gives them kind of a snapshot, but we really want to do that in a more like career exploration way going forward. But I love those questions. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, and Shannon put in chat that marketing can help you make those videos, or they've made videos. So if your department or division wants to make a video, then really contacting marketing is a great way to go.
Yes, thank you. That is definitely not my skill set. So thank you, Richie and Shannon, and marketing. And Bethany is one of the marketing department student interns who's joining us today too. So we welcome any ideas or support in any of that too.
And there's a question in chat about where is the student made aware that this is tailored to CSU? So if you look at what's on the screen right there under program map, it says to CSU. And so eventually the idea is that we will have like right now, if you click on that, that's the only possibility. But the idea is that we would like to have more maps. And so there'll be a drop down there so that you can do different things.
I get see, and we can also do specific transfer institution maps, right? So there's a lot of, there are some majors, especially like at Cal Poly, that we don't necessarily have a degree that directly correlates. And so the counseling team will be developing maps so that students know like, okay, well, I might want to do this at this school, but I could apply to this program at Cal Poly, and what would that look like?
Yeah.
So that's later on down the line.
Yeah, so there are still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of the program maps. All right, thank you.
One more,
Heidi. Sorry.
Thing I just want to put, just because it is a CSU, I just want to click, like if you click on the social science here, this is the CSU area D, and these are all of the options. And so it is, again, that's another way that a student would know, oh, this is like critical thinking. This is the CSU GE pattern. And these are the options that you can have for the critical thinking in area 3.
All right.
Great question.
Great.
Thanks for helping me monitor that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like me to stop sharing now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Thank
you. So I am going to go back to sharing my screen again. And I see that there's something else in chat right as I did that. It's incredible. Yes, it is incredible. And we're still like Heidi and I said, we still have a lot of work to do on it, but it's a great thing. All right, so we're going to do an activity now, and this is going to be around the 6 success factors. And so just a little bit of background here. Research has indicated that student support must be, first of all, integrated into a student's daily experience and included in the overall curriculum. And research has also demonstrated that students are more likely to succeed when they are directed, focused, nurtured, engaged, connected, and valued. And so these are the 6 success factors. And on the next slide, I have a little bit more information about each of those. I don't know that I need to read for you, but I know it's hard to read when somebody's talking. So just take a look at those a little bit and kind of think about those for just a little bit. And really, if we look at the word cloud that you came up with at the beginning of this, really a lot of those descriptions that you came up with were helping students to feel these 6 things. So now we're going to do an activity, and this is really going to be a self-reflective activity, but you are going to share with us your ideas. So what we'd like you to do, if my thing will advance, is spend about 5 minutes brainstorming and maybe write down before you go to the surveys. Think of 1 or 2 of the 6 success factors, and I've left them up here, and they're also available on the survey that I'm going to put in link, or I'm going to put in chat, and or you can scan it with your phone if you have your phone and you'd like to do it that way. So think of 1 or 2 of the success factors for which you are particularly able to help students experience this feeling, or as a student, select a success factor where someone has particularly helped you. And then think like, how can you help? And then also think of 1 factor, at least 1, that is not your strongest in helping students, where you could use help from a teammate from our student success team. Or as a student, which one is a factor where you could use the most support from someone at Cuesta? So a growth area. And so I'm going to put the links for the 2 surveys. There are 2 separate surveys. There's the how you can help, and there's the growth area. So the first one is 1 or 2 areas where you can help students. And then the second survey is where is maybe not your strength. Where would you need to rely on a teammate? Or if you're a student, for number 1, how has somebody particularly helped you? And for number 2, how do you particularly need help? And so when you do the survey, the first survey, actually both surveys, you can take them multiple times. So if you want to do just 1 success factor, you can just take the survey once. If you want to do it 2, and so I'm going to give you until I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so to write that out, or maybe even 10. Give you until 9:40 to complete that survey.
Where do you do the survey?
So the survey, the link is in chat.
Oh,
Or if you would prefer to use your phone, you can scan the QR code. So I have 2 different surveys. One is for an area where you can help, and the second survey is for an area where it's not your strength. And so that's why there are 2 links.
Laura, would you go back 1 slide so we can see the definitions of those 6 areas of studies? Thank
Yep.
you. Thank you.
Yes. So somebody just came in, and so I put the links in chat again. So for the person who just arrived, what we're doing is we're completing on our own 2 surveys. And so the survey is going to tell you what is going to ask you the questions. We have these 6 success factors that help students succeed. And so please complete these 2 surveys, and you can do it multiple times if you have 2 different success factors where you can help or need help.
Does anybody have any questions or anything while we, I know there are people popping in and out, so we just wanted to check in and make sure we get everybody if you need anything.
As I'm looking at the survey, I realize I have a typo, an important typo in the second survey. When you get to the second question, it says, please provide comments about how you could help with this success factor. What I meant was how you could use help with this success factor, because this is supposed to be your growth area. So that was a bait and switch, wasn't it? Like, where do you need help? How can you help? So I meant was, how could you use help from somebody else? Sorry about that.
Can we go back to the little squiggly line barcode things?
Yep, there you
Maybe,
go.
please? Thank you.
And the links are also in chat. Let me do
Right, I couldn't
this.
see it in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Oops, sorry. I was going to, hang on a second. Don't look behind the curtain. All right, here we go. Now they're both the QR codes and the definitions. So we've got 5 more minutes to do this. So I fixed the second survey. Sorry about that.
Lara, do we know when people are still, or when it slows down?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm still getting responses for the second one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
Mm-hmm. All right, somebody else just showed up. What we're doing right now, and we just have maybe 2 more minutes left, is we are answering 2 surveys. I just put them in chat. And the first survey is ways in which you in your role at Cuesta can help students feel at least one of these 6 success factors. And the second one is an area where maybe you need growth or where you need help from a team member. Yes, responses are still coming in. So we're going to do about 2 more minutes. Okay, it looks like things have slowed down a bit and it is 9:40. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna expand my, oops, nope, I expanded the wrong thing. Technical issues here. Expand my share window. And I'm gonna go ahead and slide in the results from the first survey. First of all, I love the distribution of people that are here. I love that classified staff have won. They got first place in terms of representation. Yes.
Oh.
And counselors are doing great. They came here straight from their division meeting. Awesome. And administration is very well represented too. We're doing great. I didn't actually take the survey, so that could be 4.
And
all right.
students.
What's that?
And
And students. Yes, we're doing great with students, 6 students. Thank you so much for being here, students. Okay, and so just in terms of where people feel strong in terms of how they can help people, help students, there's a lot of strong feeling around feeling nurtured, and people are maybe a little bit not as strong with engaged. I'm imagining if we had more instructional faculty here, that might be a bit larger because that's kind of part of our job, right? And focused as well. So let's just go ahead and just look at a couple of here for connected. Does anything kind of stand out to anybody?
Well, without technical support, none of us would be here these days. So that gets my vote.
Yay, that's right. That is so true. I'm going to slide down here a little bit. So you can see that there's a variety of ways that we can help students to feel connected, and everybody can play a role in that. All right. And then if we look at directed, do we see anything in particular that people feel about directed?
Can I chime in, Lara?
Yes, I think actually you were supposed to do the review, but I'm just doing it because I have the responses.
Cool. I don't know how my name got on there again. One earlier it says, like really specific information, like so supplying a student, where is that? Provide information specific to each student and precise steps that they can take to succeed, which I think is super important. I think sometimes we just get like in the grind of, sometimes we get in the grind of, kind of answering the same question over and over again. And we forget to go like, wait, let me take a step back and hear the student a little bit more clearly so that we can make sure we're answering their specific question. And in every area, right, that's going to be like, students are always like, oh, it's just a quick question. You're like, well, if I'm going to give you a specific one, it's actually not quick, right? So it's going to take a little bit longer for me to make sure I can answer according to their particular circumstances, whether, regardless of what area that's in. So it's a cool one.
Yeah,
I like
thanks. And then we have engaged. So connecting directly with faculty and tutors, very good. I'm just going to kind of go through these a little bit fast because Heidi has a little bit more to say about them, but I just want to show you what other people here came up with. I like this first one.
Mhm.
Funny.
So I'm looking forward to reading through these, and I can share these results out with everybody who attended if you'd like to read through these at some time. Listen, so listen actively and share their, as they share their concerns is a really important part of helping students feel nurtured. Here's another one, listen and be responsive. Ensure that students know that they have someone who can help them if an issue comes up at Cuesta. I spent a lot of my time talking to students, telling them about different, who can help them. I tell them Heidi's name a lot. And I tell them Donna Howard's name a lot. These are people who can help you. These are some of our resources. I also tell them my embedded tutor's name a lot. They already know her, but you know, that kind of stuff. Valued is really important. So I assume that this is a student here showed me that it is possible to succeed despite past mistakes and showed me I was capable. That is so true. So true. Another really important thing that we can all do for students.
I think a lot of students feel like their past has to like dictates or derails them or prevents them from being successful. And, you know, I think one of the best things that each of us can do is share kind of our own experience and our own struggle as a student and how like we moved through that and how it doesn't have to define you going forward. Even for high school students, a lot of students think that if they didn't do well in high school, they cannot be successful in college. And that was me. I was not a good high school student at all, but had a lot better success in college. But I needed that encouragement. I needed that. I needed someone to tell me who's done it.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I spent a lot of my time doing that too. In terms of the growth areas, engaged, which we saw was a smaller piece of the pie on the previous one, is a bigger piece of the pie here, which is not surprising. And directed and connected are some of the big growth areas. And again, I had a typo in there first, so some of the responses might be a little bit tricky. So there's some good things here at Oregon State. So there's some ideas there of what they do there to help students be connected.
And Lara, that comment mentions like meeting other students in your major that are either at the same stage as you or a little bit ahead of you. So again, just like we talked about a second ago, you know, sharing our personal experiences, but when we allow students or create an opportunity for students to share their experiences with other students, then we can, like, it's easier, you know, when they hear it from their peers. Sometimes it's more believable.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. Some of my favorite, I feel like some of the most successful tutors are the ones that struggled in my class.
That's a good point. I think a lot of students think that I can't be a tutor because I didn't do. I didn't do the best.
Yeah. My current embedded tutor was like, when I asked her if she would be a tutor, she's like, but I struggled in your class. I'm like, yep, that's why.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have directed, do we see anything in particular? Oh, identify student on the correct path. The mapper will definitely help. It's great. Is anything else kind of come up with directed?
I appreciate this point that some of us don't have access to students in the early parts of their journeys. And so we're really dependent on where the students are when we meet them. So that definitely is leaning on your team.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, Claire. Yeah.
And Lara, can I ask a question? This is Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Look, one of the things that made a huge difference for me, and I didn't put this in the questionnaire, was my school had a convocation hour where Tuesdays and Thursdays, there were no classes, like from 12:30 to 1:30.
Yeah.
That really embraces every single thing here because there were activities, events, like there were no classes at all. And when we had bands on campus. There were so many amazing things, ways to get connected with our professors and with each other. Has there been any movement towards that with guided pathways or with the success factors?
Yeah, thank you, Andrea, so much for that question. Certainly, I have been in lots of meetings since I started at Cuesta about that. And I know that Jill has talked about that, and I know Jill is here. I think that's really important. I think it's a really important conversation. It's a tricky thing, you know, particularly like in areas like mine with labs. It's really hard to figure out how to do that, how to make that happen. But I think that would be fabulous if we could make that happen.
Or maybe
but
we
in
could
terms of guided pathways, we haven't really. That's not something we've been working on in guided pathways. Yeah.
Or maybe we could reach out to schools that have made it happen. It actually wouldn't, I mean, 35 years ago, it happened between my freshman and sophomore year. So it was the last 3 years that I was there. So I don't know, maybe reaching out to other schools to see how they made that change.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you, Andrea.
I know Jason actually, I remember being a huge, big proponent of it also. And I think with COVID and the scheduling and having a lot of things still like available and an opportunity to have online, I think it's a great thing for us to bring up again, like with the calendaring committee. And it would definitely be in line with student-centered scheduling. I think. Great.
It's definitely a good thing. Thank you for that. And that would help with the next one, which is engaged, right? And so some things about struggles that people have with Engage. Sometimes, especially this year, it's hard to keep track of all the services programs available to students as this is fluid. Yes. One thing that's really cool, Heidi, would you like to tell people about the what's it called? The Student Services
Hub
waiting room?
Oh, Hub.
Lobby.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Lobby, the Student Services Lobby.
Yeah, so there's the Hub, which is the in Canvas, and that was developed by Donna Howard, who's also on this call. But we recently collaborated with financial aid and enrollment services, and we're going to I think we're piloting it next week, but we're offering a one-stop Zoom link lobby for student services support programs. So the all the departments quickly, IT, it looks like it's being piloted this week, Jeffrey said. So the departments did an amazing job of creating their own Zoom links and their own virtual lobbies. And we realized just popping in and out of certain lobbies for students is sometimes really challenging, and they land in one when their question is really appropriate for another area. And so we lose students also in transition, right? So we've talked helping a student feel like nurtured or directed. A lot of times we would walk students right from one department to another. Okay, you're done at financial aid, let's walk you to your next stop. But we're still siloed. And so in trying to support students in like a more effective way, which I'm so excited that the student support areas are going to try it out, and it's basically a one-stop shop. So it's a one-stop student support lobby that'll have an enrollment success specialist, a financial aid specialist, and then the counseling team will be joining in for part of those hours as a pilot to just kind of see how it goes. And so it'll be like a Zoom lobby, but kind of like a one-stop shop. And then similar to like an office, right? If the student has like a private thing that we need to talk about, we can pull them into a breakout room for each of those different areas. But a lot of times students have questions that all of us can need to support the student. And so we can really work together as a team, but also learn about how each other, like what the answers are to different questions, right? Or how different things work on campus. So I think it's a cool opportunity for us to kind of cross-train and learn about what each other's jobs are and kind of how what I tell a student impacts their financial aid or their enrollment, right? And so, and vice versa. And that way the student only has to go to one place. So that's really exciting, and I'm hoping that'll be well utilized. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. And then we have focused. that students have a lot on their plates. Yeah. Fully understand the areas of study and the mapper to help students feel focused. It's a hard thing, especially right now while we're online. And so much is going on. And then nurtured.
Lara, really
Yeah.
quick, Bethany, who's our student intern in marketing,
Yeah.
said she really likes the one-stop idea. She said
Mhm.
that's fantastic. She said one of her struggles early on was when she'd call Cuesta and never knew which number to press or which specific area. So she said that would, help to overcome that issue. And again, whoever answers the phone, our support staff is so incredible. They try their best to answer the questions. But then ultimately, a lot of times they end up having to make them an appointment with a financial aid specialist or a counselor, when instead we could just all help them.
Send
in
them
the
right
moment.
there.
Yeah, and then they'd be on their way.
Yeah, helping the student right now is really good. Any other comments on nurtured?
So
And-
I have one.
Yeah.
And I just want to circle back to like our activity earlier in the session when we all put in that person, right, that helped us when we were students, and how and the things that they did, right, and how it was supported, encouraged, like they were all nurturing words, right? So and what I love
Yes.
about that is it doesn't matter our role at Cuesta, right? Like every single person that a student interacts with, right, from Jill as our president, like, across every level, right, down to like the friendly gardeners, whose name I never got. But when I would come onto campus, right, like we can encourage students and all support them and help them to feel nurtured regardless of our role. And I think
You're right. Yeah.
it's important to remember too that students just see, oh, you work at Cuesta, you can help me, right? We forget that they don't really know, students don't necessarily know who we are, what we do. They just need help, right? And so that's where I think the more that we create these teams that we're here to design, it's about like, we got you, right? Like it doesn't matter if it's going to be me or someone else on our team, like we're creating that safety net for students. And we all play such a significant role in that. So
Yeah.
very cool.
All right. And then the last one is valued. Are there any comments on valued?
Dr. West has her hand up.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. Hi, everyone. When you were speaking a moment ago, Heidi, it made me think of what Dr. Maya Angelou said. And she said, it's not what people said that you remember, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yes.
So for me, anytime I'm in front of anyone, my goal is to make them feel, first of all, I'm going to give them my full attention, give them, honor in their spot that they're in, and making them know that they're here and they're legitimate. Their questions are legitimate, whatever it is, making them feel warmth when they're here on campus. There's sometimes when we were on campus, I would just see someone walking lost, like I was when I first got here. And you always just make, hey, what can I help you with? And they appreciate that, even if they're not coming to see me as a counselor, but maybe I can guide them to the right place. And more than that, if I have time, I try to walk them there. So those small bits make a difference on everyone that visits our campus, much like what you just said. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Stephen A. wrote in the chat,
Oh, yeah.
I wear my name tag when walking around, and students stop me and ask me questions since they know I work here. Exactly.
Oh,
right?
that's
So, like,
great.
it's just, you work here. Can you help me?
Yes.
That's right.
And they just don't realize we can't all answer the questions. But I think that, like, again, this support, and the more we work together across, right, administration, faculty, staff, and students, like the more we work together, the more we're going to know those answers, right? Or know at least who to talk to.
Mhm.
And to
Yeah,
make,
that's a really good point.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so just a few more minutes for the discussion here. Did you want to describe this, Heidi?
Sure. This is a concept that I learned in grad school. And so I was talking to Lara and I said, I feel like such a common thing. And, if you work, directly with students regularly, like you know some of this, but sometimes in a classroom setting, or even when a student says like, I need help with my financial aid, or can you help me pick my classes, right? They present the apparent problem. And so this is kind of how I like view most people, right? So like, this is the presenting problem or the issue that they come with, right? Just like when they enter in that Zoom lobby and they say, you know, they say, okay, like I need this, but like, so sometimes we don't always have the language or the words, or like, we don't feel comfortable getting at the real problem, which you can see like what we see on the surface, you know, and however they present, right? If it's in a classroom, right? And they're like, an instructor observes that they're really struggling, they're not turning in their stuff, or they're, you know, like not engaged. You know, like you can make assumptions about that, but the problem is like, we need to create a way, right, where we can help students identify the real problem that's below, so that we can address the presenting issue, right? So like, it's basically, I think what we forget about human beings. So it's not just students, it's all of us, right? We have this view that the world sees, and then which is really more like a symptom, right, of like a deeper struggle or problem or issue, or like, for example, like we talked about, not a directed student. Well, that student may be homeless. They may have just had a family member die. They may have been fired from their job. They may only have work late at night. So when they wake up for class, like they're still really sleepy. So there's always, you know, often financial and especially like familial and health issues predominantly now, but financial issues resulting in having to work too much is a big problem for our challenge for our students. And I think this is just a good reminder to keep in mind. Karina put in the chat here, this is also a common idea in library work. We are trained to interview the student to understand their real information. Awesome, we got a lot more people coming in too.
Yeah.
Karina,
It's the 10 o'clock hour. Maybe people just finished class or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Any comments or questions about what Heidi was just talking about? Thank you, Heather. I don't know if she already left, but thank you.
I was just going to say, as a former student, Heidi described like some of my experiences. I remember working as a night auditor, just so I could work full time. And then I would get off at like 7 in the morning, sleep maybe 2 hours, or probably actually an hour, drive my kid to school, then come back home, hang out for 2 hours or 3 before having to go to class. So I remember, you know, having that experience. And I remember Heidi kind of as a counselor guiding me through, but yeah, I'd be tired, but it was because, you know, we were trying to survive while trying to get education.
Yeah. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, it's rarely what we think, right? It's not usually that a student, and that's why, again, going back to, you know, when students, their academic record isn't a reflection necessarily of their ability or their intelligence, often never, right? It could simply be, I'm in the wrong major and I don't understand why I'm not doing well, you know, because it's not in line with who they are, what they like. And so, and I'm just so excited that we're talking about this, and I appreciate, Christina, that you shared so much. But even just like how we all were so excited when we got on this call, right? And to see each other's faces and just to connect, and how it just felt like, okay, this is going to be like a party for the next 2 hours. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. But I think like students need that too and want that, right? So that they feel that support. I mean, I just feel so much more encouraged, even just seeing your faces. So I think, you know, remembering how significant those relationships are, I think is really, and building by asking those questions, right? Like, what's really going on? How can I help you? Instead of like, I'm a counselor, these are the only things I can do, right? Not that counselors necessarily do that, but like we kind of get tunnel vision. And so we really want to open up the possibilities for us all to support them in all of these success factors.
And it highlights the need for us to be willing to engage with them, because if all we address is the apparent problem, that real problem is just going to manifest itself again. And so no matter what our role, we have to be willing to take the time with the students. And that can be hard to keep in mind sometimes. You know, we all get busy, we all have a workload, and sometimes it feels like all you have is time to deal with the apparent problem. But you're really saving yourself trouble later, because it's going to manifest again if you don't address the real problem.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a great, and that was like the one-stop shop. It was like, how long is it going to take a student to walk or virtually jump all over campus to all these different departments when we could just help them in the 10 minutes because somebody in the room is going to be able to do it. Very great. I love it. This is so fun.
So for more information about the six success factors, there we go, got it, mouth is working today. There is a guide, a 2-page guide from the RP group, and we're not going to spend a lot of time going over this, but you can do this on your own time. I've got the QR code on the screen. I also put the link in the chat. But this is really showing how the student can experience those 6 success factors, and it gives tips. This is just one graphic from that 2-page thing, and it gives some more. Sorry, I was trying to look at the chat and talk at the same time. That gives some more information. So now what we're going to do is talk about. Is there anything else about this before we move on to the next topic? Okay. Thank you, Donna, by the way. I see what's going on in chat there. So now let's talk about our design of the success teams at Cuesta. And as I wasn't so much involved in this. So when I say we, I definitely mean that in terms of we meaning them. As we were looking at the student success teams and like, who were we going to put on these student success teams? We looked at what other colleges had done. And so, we're not just like starting from scratch here. But do we have somebody who's going to present this, or is it going to be you, Heidi?
So I was going to present it, and then whoever, like if there's anybody in the room that wants to add their comments or thoughts or concerns or kind of what their role is and want to chime in, that would be lovely. So the success teams, we loosely modeled or started this idea, really Lyra and I a couple years ago, but after attending a guided pathways conference, and I saw a Fresno City College that developed these super robust support teams with different roles. But the more we thought about it, we realized like we have these roles, we have these job duties, we have these people on our campus that help support our students. We just don't work together in a team like function like within those individual roles. Talking is hard today. So in the counseling team and in student support services, we started kind of like putting this together in guided pathways. We started talking about this and going, okay, who can we have? So counselors, enrollment success specialists, academic success coaches, department faculty, so like lead faculty in the different areas, and part-time faculty, especially the ones that like specialize in different areas, division chairs, student support, peer mentors, librarian, financial aid specialists, division assistants and program specialists. Also, Shamara is on this call, or was earlier, and she and Kim Espino, I think, was on it too. I saw her pop in, and so they work in our career, career connections, and so they help like connect students a lot with different jobs, careers, and internship opportunities, and they work closely with financial aid to place students with who want to do federal work study. So the federal work study program is the funding source, right? But then the job opportunities are housed in our career connections. So I think we really want to include them on this too, as well as within counselors, right? We have DSPS, we have our cafe counselors, we have our ESL and non-credit counselors, and our transfer center coordinator and counselor, Kate, who also serves on our team. And then we have, and then with the division chair. So this is kind of an overview of what a support team could look like according to each area of study. And you're welcome, Shara. And so we've been collaborating more too, but this is kind of, we threw it together. and so, and here we are. So if anybody,
can I also share that, well, I'm going to, This is what we, again, not meaning me, I didn't do this work. Awesome people, with a lot of work. And this is not the first iteration, and it's not the last iteration. This is the current iteration of the student success teams. Let me start over on the left. So this is showing the area of study here. And then you can see that there's a lead counselor, support counselors. We have the career counselors and transfer counselors, and as we keep going, DSPS are the same for all areas of study. But then it continues on through, we've got the ESS members, those are the enrollment success specialists. I get that right? Good. Phew.
You did.
Financial aid.
Several of them are on the call right now.
Yes. Librarians and so forth. So this is just gives you an idea of sort of like what it's currently looking like. And this is, like I said, not the final draft, not the first draft. All right, sorry to interrupt that. Go ahead.
No, so I would love to hear from, because there's already work being done in the collaboration. Once we kind of threw this all together, people have just been going to town on it. So I would love for anybody to chime in. Any questions?
I would like, yes, this is Glenda, and I would like to give the floor. Hi, how are you? I would like to give the floor to Kate, because one of the things that counseling has done is actually now taking in this information and develop actually the role of the counselor within these student success teams. And we would love to share it, because maybe you want to use that as a guide to create, if your name is in here for your role, maybe you want to take that document and look at it and serve as a guide for create your own role and how you see your position really assisting this student success team. So Kate, do you mind sharing?
Sure. Good morning, everyone.
Kate, do you have something that you want to display?
Yeah.
Or?
Can I share my screen if you all would like to see that document?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Oh, did Veronica have a question? I'm sorry, I just noticed her hand is up.
Oh.
Or comment?
No, I think that's from before.
That's from before. Okay, sorry.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, for those of you that haven't met me, hi, my name's Kate Porter. I'm a counselor, and I also coordinate our University Transfer Career Center. And so we actually, I saw something kind of like this in our transfer counselors website. There was a Guided Pathways presentation, and I think it was Butte College had put together a document really clarifying the role of a counselor in Guided Pathways implementation. So we thought, what a great tool to really, clarify a counselor's responsibilities, and also have counselors give input into, creating what this role is going to look like, and really kind of getting everybody on board. And so we had discussion about this document, and then we actually voted on it and unanimously approved it as a team. So, it starts with basically showing what Lara just showed, the areas of study with the who is the determined counselor lead, the support counselors, and then the other counselors that will also have a role within the area of study. So for each area of study, it's going to be kind of like a group of counselors, but with one counselor lead, at the helm. And so if I just kind of scroll down, I'll show you a little bit, and I can share this with anyone. Feel free to email me if you'd like to see a copy of it that you can, read a little bit more clearly. I know it's a little hard on the screen, but basically, the partnership between the counselor lead and instructional faculty is going to be a really strong working relationship, with a focus on, counselor leads being the point person for all those faculty within those program areas to relay information about any program changes, courses, and then that counselor is going to relay that information back to our counseling team, and anybody else in the student success team that would benefit from knowing that information. And so one thing important to know is that our counselors all will remain generalists, and that's a term that we use to just mean that counselors, we need to know information about every program, every major, course changes, transfer. We all learn all of those bits so that we can effectively counsel students. And that will not change. So all counselors, even though they will be, assigned areas of study, they will remain generalists and continue to serve all students. And you can see we have a list of guiding principles that we wrote out about, what the counselor lead partnership specifically is going to look like, how that's going to work. They're going to, work together to, like I said, share information. They're going to work together to coordinate events and activities for students. And there'll be appropriate referral for any instructional faculty within that area of study. So it can be kind of the point person to start with. And then also to work together to determine strategies to monitor student progress and it ultimately improve student success within that area of study. The support counselors will work with the counseling lead and co-facilitate workshops, meet with students, help to get information back to our team, and assist with potentially outreach via email, that sort of thing, just to help students feel connected and have another person involved. And then our career counselors, so this is going to be Heidi and Allie, and they have quite a big role, I see, in implementing guided pathways, because there is such a strong career component to it. But really, they're going to be involved in facilitating career workshops based on area of study, which are already happening, which has really been exciting. And then also providing opportunities for students to learn about majors and career pathways, facilitating career workshops with career connections, career fairs, internship opportunities, career development plans, and then hopefully working on that Canvas shell to provide or the website development to include career and major resources. And then also determining a major and career matching assessment. So we have a good tool that students can use if they're an undecided student to take the assessment and then be connected to an area of study. And then lastly, my role as the Transfer Center Coordinator is going to be to help keep counselors current on all transfer information, but also specifically funneling information related to an area of study to the appropriate team for that area of study. And then I will also be available to work, and present at any events or workshops. And hopefully, my goal is always to promote transfer on campus. So to get more students thinking about transfer and that it is, a great option. And then I'll always serve as a referral for any counselors, student success team members, and then assist in the development and maintenance of our transfer program maps for Cal Poly and hopefully for some of our UC partners as well. So that is.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Kate? All right, I think that could be a really great model for the other groups in the team. That was really wonderful. Thank you. You've done a lot of work on that. It was really great. Okay, should we go ahead and move on? Actually, let me share my screen again. Wait. Our next thing is a break. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break, give you a chance to, get more coffee or whatever it is that you need to do. We're gonna come back here at 10:22, and I'm gonna put on some music for you.
I had nothing to lose when the winter's in full swing and your dreams.
All right, let's get back to it. Open up my participants window. All my other things. All right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you got to stretch your legs a little bit. That's what I did. Did a little stretching. Okay, so is Heidi back? Heidi? There she is. Oh, you're muted though. There you go. Hi.
Bye.
All right. Phew. It's good to have a break. All right. So now we're going to do another activity, but first we're going to start with Heidi talking a little bit about the life cycle of a student to warm up this activity.
Okay. So, I think, you know, we all kind of remember what it was like to be a student at one point or another, and eventually, you know, we forget that and everything changes, you know, every year. So, but, you know, a student, right here, look, you know, applies for admission. Hopefully they fill out financial aid. It looks like that word is missing an L. And then maybe they go to see a counselor, maybe, but they do need to register. And then, you know, perhaps if they're referred to as special programs or services, and then eventually they land into the classroom, right? So like, the things that have to happen, right? Just the onboarding process that has to occur, just for a student to make it to class is something that I feel like we, you know, unless you're a part, like the enrollment success specialists and counselors and financially, right? Like we're kind of doing that, and CAFE and the special programs and DSPS and areas that like help students do that regularly. We're readily aware, right, of that. But I think it's easy to forget, you know, especially at a community college, because there isn't traditionally not a system that kind of allows for that like consistent onboarding process as it would at a traditional 4-year for a traditional student. Many of our students are working and have families and have, you know, all these outside responsibilities, multiple jobs, most of them. So, you know, I think if a student makes it to their classroom, like to their first day of class, it's a miracle, really, you know, and I mean, it's not their fault that it's a miracle, right? It's really kind of just our system. And we just kind of wanted to show this. This is a graphic that Dr. Elizabeth Correa shared with us, you know, kind of what that looks like and how that can feel to a student. And, you know, when we're all on campus, this exists, right? And then this exists in an even kind of a more intense way in some ways, but a very lonely way when a student's online. So just take a minute maybe to like look at all that. And again, if a student happens to attend like an orientation, right, or Cougar Welcome Days or Connect at Cuesta event, or one of our Fridays that we do in the summer, you know, they're getting access to some of these things. But you also can't hold people's attention just because it's not practical or realistic to do that in long periods of time. But this stuff takes a long time. I just helped a family friend yesterday apply to Cuesta. She's a senior about to graduate from Pacific Beach. And, you know, so if a student has, you know, a learning difference or social anxiety or some mental health challenges or physical challenges, right? The process of participating in any traditional orientation process can be very daunting. So we just wanted to kind of revisit this and highlight this. And we've done an amazing job at Cuesta in the last, few years. Every year we're changing and tweaking and trying to make it better, right? We have the in-person orientation, the online orientation gets updated. Those things change and we update them every year. We just want to thank you for those that are coming in and going, and thanks, Claire. But, you know, again, when they make it to class, the things that they've been able to overcome and the work that they have done to put into that and the determination and just the persistence that it takes to get to that place, I think is something that we all need a reminder of. And how can we continue to streamline this and support the students so that they don't fall through the cracks? And that's a lot of what we're doing is how many, you know, at those different touch points, if they don't make it, if they miss the financial aid boat and they're enrolled in 15 units and they have to get a job and they don't have any other any other way to support themselves, they're going to drop out. So, And that all happened before the first day of class. So we just wanted to kind of remind ourselves a little bit and kind of take that in and think about what that feels like. You know, just going to the DMV for us, right, is like, gosh, it's only one stop. But man, the thought of hours of trying to get your car registered or buy a new car or just get your driver's license photo taken is exhausting. And, you know, this is like a DMV stop at every stage. So you get it. Anyways, I just wanted, we just wanted to highlight it. And and that's the purpose of why we're here and what we're doing is we want to do this in a more student friendly way and use all of our strengths to do that.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to put you to work. And so we're going to put you in breakout rooms and let me see how many breakout rooms we're going to do. Where's the breakout room thing? There it is. Let's see here.
We have 50. We could do 10.
The most it's going to let me do is 9, which would be 5 to 6 people per room. Oh no, it's going to let me do 10. That's 4 to 5 people per room, but that includes us. That might be a little, maybe we want a little bit more people per room.
You want to do like 8? 8
rooms. Okay, we're going to do 8 rooms, which is 6 to 7, 6 people per room because we just lost somebody. So we're going to do 8 breakout rooms. And what we're going to have you do is brainstorm maybe 2 or 3, maybe fewer because we're giving you less time than we thought we were going to give you on this. Student issues in completing class or being successful. And then how can a student success team work together to assist the student? And for which issues do you need help or don't know where to go to help this student? And we've got some examples here, and I can throw those examples into chat, except I don't have them here. I will throw the examples into chat in a bit, so that you'll have them when you go into your breakout rooms. And what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to place a link in chat, and when you get to that link, it's going to have a link for what room you're in. And so look for your room, and I'd like you to choose somebody in your room to be the recorder who will share their screen. So they'll share their screen and they're going to record what you say in your room, and just do as much as you can. And I say on here, oh, no, I can't move that. Too many things on my screen. I say on here, we're going to come back at 10:45, maybe 10:50 might be better, to give you enough time, to give you 20 minutes to talk. Let me do this real quick. I want to put those. Oh, we wanted to do our little example thing though, didn't we? So I'm going to put this in chat, but let's do a quick little example here that Heidi and I were going to do. So the other day, Heidi and I were talking about this, and I said, I have this student who is not turning in their work. And when they do their work, they do a really good job. They're getting C's on their tests. They do fine on their things when they turn it in, but they're just not turning in their work. And I've talked to this student several times, and I know that this student has a full-time job and they don't want to cut back on their hours because they love their job. They work installing solar panels, and they like to surf, and that's an important thing. So after work, they like to go surfing. And then when they come back from surfing and working all day, they're tired. And I just told this to Heidi, and she said, oh, wow, this would be a great example of a student issue that we could talk about at Design Days. So I'm going to go ahead and let Heidi tell me sort of what she thought this student could be told to help them.
Well, I think it's important, you know, they said they really enjoyed their class. And so it's important to really figure out, I think, how and why a student is motivated for their, like, why are they taking the class in the first place? How is it going to get them closer to their goal? What is their goal, right? So this particular student likes to surf, enjoys their job, and is just struggling or is prioritizing, right? Like those things over his classwork, which again is I think the student is a male. I'm not actually just assuming it's a male.
I think because I said he when we talked about it earlier. So
Okay.
it is a male, yes.
Okay.
He identifies
could
as
be
male.
anybody. Just the fact that somebody loves their job already, I think is a really important piece, right? So understanding what the student's long-term goal is he eventually planning on leaving his job, right? And it's a big shift for people to leave their job, for students to leave a job to like refocus on school. We all have to figure out how to make a living and survive. So I think it creates an opportunity for a conversation with the student about, again, why they're taking a class, what grades that they need to accomplish their goals, and if this is really what they want to do at all. So if he's planning on, this particular student's planning on staying in the field of solar or wants to work, in a STEM field, he's going to need to pass his chemistry class with at least a C or better, especially depending on where he wants to go. So again, if he's just struggling to find the motivation, or let's say he, is supporting a family and doesn't have those options of being flexible, but he's also has a really great healthy balance of self-care. So he's making sure he's going surfing. But I think what it all gets down to is why are you taking the class? What are your priorities? What are your goals, your educational goals, and how are those prioritized? And if the student's behavior is in alignment with that, then I think that that's perfectly fair and fine. But I think it, again, creates an opportunity for you to have those discussions on why it's important to do well in this class and how that can help the student further their educational goals. Because a lot of times students just take classes that are on a plan and they don't necessarily know the why. So it's super hard, when you're struggling or when other things come into play, to kind of remember, you need to be reminded sometimes why you're taking this class and how this is going to move you forward. Because sometimes we just take classes because somebody told us to, and we forget, or we don't know, or we were never told why. And so, but again, that's not really going to help a student if I just tell him why, versus taking a second to ask him, hey, so why are you taking this class? How is this going to help you get to where you want to go? And then I think, again, it's a mutual understanding and respect. If he's like, I'm going to get a C in this class because I can't give it my full attention, and this is why, then Lara will be like, okay. But it's an opportunity for a conversation, for connection, right? To refocus, and for the person supporting them, whether that's instructional faculty, support staff, to have that mutual respect and to understand exactly what's going on, right? It goes back to the iceberg. This is what you're seeing, but we have no idea what other things that student didn't share with Lara, right? What else is going on in that student's life? So, and you don't have to be a counselor to ask those questions, right? It's not like it's not like we're magic, although
you are magic. But also I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt because I do want to give people time to do this activity. Also in terms of how the success team might work together to help this student, an academic success coach can help this student, a counselor could help this student. There are other, it doesn't have to be on me. I can reach out to my team members to help this student. Maybe financial aid might be able to help this student. Maybe they can cut back on their hours. All right, are we all clear on what you're going to do in your breakout room? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create those rooms, and we'll pull you back into this room at 10:50.
And we're typing up, right?
You're going to type in
okay.
in that link that I gave you in chat.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Hi.
All right. I'm sorry if you didn't get enough time on that activity, but at least hopefully you got some ideas out there. Does anybody have any comments on what their group said, or anybody want to share comments from their group? No?
It was awesome, and we would love more time. And Elizabeth has her hand up.
Okay, Elizabeth.
I can read to you what we
okay, great.
Together. So issue 1, what is one common student issue in completing classes or being successful? And we said transitioning from high school to college, the adaptation process, knowing when to drop a course, how many times one can drop, how to transfer, and time management, thinking about the surfer. And then how could the success team work together to assist the student? Success coaching, counseling, having the instructor build the steps and services into their course structure and syllabus while they're in class, sharing a student success hub, and having things available within the course that help the student to take the steps that they need at the right time. And then the second issue we talked about was motivation. So, you know, potentially the student has created a really wonderful executable plan, but then finds themselves like lacking the energy to complete it, and which can lead over time to procrastination. And so then how can we assist the students? We were hoping for maybe some more ideas on ways that we can support the student. Though the one that we came up with was the instructor reaching out with positivity, active listening and understanding, and providing assistance. But we'd love to flesh that one out more.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. I actually have to leave now. Kind of a hard thing for the facilitator to have to leave 5 minutes before the end. So I'm going to turn things over to Heidi to finish wrapping this up. But I will say that we will be sending out your $25 gift cards, $50 for the students. And also that we will be sending the recording of this. This has been recorded, and we will be sending the recording of this out. And I also wanted to say thank you so much for coming. And I think Heidi and I haven't completely designed the second design day yet, but we can probably add this activity to that design day as well, so that we can have longer time to talk about it. Okay. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to go now. Bye.
Thanks, Lara. Bye.
Thank you, Lara.
Yeah. So I noticed some more notes in the chat here. And I really appreciate, let's see, it looks like more student success providing more group study sessions or more group like support, right? Like, so study habits or participation, different workshops like that. And then Lori also said academic success coaches are amazing for helping with that time management stuff. So shout out to Jamie. Is it Alyssa and Janet or Elisa? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that right.
I think it's Alicia, right?
Alicia. Oh, it's Alicia and I. Got it.
Alicia.
I was like, I just want to, yes, Alicia, of course. So we're going to compile like all of the breakout room feedback. So then if we want to, do you guys think it would be a good idea to add this to the next, or at least to build on it, right? So if we compile it all and then we can start kind of designing activities around like what we talked about, which is kind of what's happening in the chat. There we go, Alicia and I. Perfect, thank you. No worries, Lori, yeah, you're good. I just wanted to, you know, everybody has a different spelling and pronunciation. So I think, Christina, did I see your hand up?
I was just gonna comment on some of the stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Some of those are students still here, but
some of them are.
Yeah, I don't think we put it into our notes, but we kind of talked about experiences the student had actually on campus. And so they mentioned the cohort. It sounded like what she was describing was a cohort idea where she had an opportunity to meet with all the other business major students, and they got to hang out and kind of naturally partner with one another. Because we mentor, Donna mentioned, you know, would a peer mentor be beneficial for a student to help navigate? And the student actually said when they got to naturally do it together, it really was beneficial. So I don't know if that's something that is already an idea to help with students or help students out with kind of like a naturally designed thing.
So, and you're saying, when you say natural, do you mean more like just create like an opportunity for all those people to come together kind of like this? Is that
Yeah,
kind of
like,
what you mean?
Like we would all come together and then we would just naturally find who clicks with us, and then that would be our partner or person we would reach out to.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great idea. And I think that's, so these areas of success teams, like I think in the vision is to create those kinds of opportunities, right? Where we could have like a, hey, everyone in creative arts and communication, and I always butcher the name because but you know, like if we could all meet together and then we could kind of find those different, hey, I like this or I like this. Or if this is your major, we could do breakout rooms according to each major, right? Or so creating those kinds of opportunities for students to connect is exactly kind of what we're hoping for, right? Around areas of study, because it's that piece, right? It's shared interests. And again, I don't know if for y'all, but when you find the people that like think like you or like the things that you like, which for me didn't happen until grad school, I was like, oh my gosh, people who also like school. Holy cow. You know, it was an amazing thing to go. I've waited 28 years, you know, I had waited 28 years to finally figure out like, there are other people like me. And that's a huge, like such a powerful learning, connected, and valued piece that we really want to create for our students. So Christina, yeah, love it. Which will be more about like in our next 2 design days, that's what we're hoping to do. So it looks like there's a little bit more in the chat here. Yes, Nancy, thank you. I got her on here. And then Stephen A said enrolled students have the Students of Success Center Canvas shell automatically. And then there's study sessions in there, and they have virtual rooms so you can use study groups and have rooms after hours, embedded tutors and everything open Monday through Saturday, which is huge. Thank you, Stephen A, for that reminder. And it's so awesome that we all got to see that and hear that. So again, I think a lot of us have possibly an 11 a.m. meeting. My email just told me that my student at my 11 a.m. appointment is in there waiting. But we cannot thank you all enough for being here, for your enthusiasm, for your contributions, just for showing up and showing us your faces. It's so great. And we really hope you all get to participate in our next 2 events as well, as we kind of try to like build all of these ideas and create these opportunities and activities for students as well. But just sharing and hearing about what you all are doing already is really an incredible thing that I think, I mean, I would do this every Friday, but I'm sure that's not going to be possible, but it's just so cool to hear about all the great work that everybody's already doing. So thank you guys so much for being here. And this was so fun, and I've missed you all so much. So have a great Friday. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and we'll hopefully see you soon, and see you in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks for the next one. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.